Hi everybody, thank you very much for joining me today for our Student Ambassador question and answer. I'm here with Jessica today. So my name is Ellen and I'm a Schools and Colleges Liaison Officer here at Royal Holloway. And Jessica, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jess and I go to Royal Holloway. I'm a first year student studying English and creative writing.
Fantastic, thanks Jess. So tell us, where did you go to school, where did you go to college, and what made you choose to go to Royal Holloway?
So I went to school at Matthew Arnold in Staines, and I moved to Strode's College after doing a year at Godalming College. So I actually had to restart my A levels. One of the reasons I chose to go to Holloway was because it was so close, and I did kind of that security, especially with the pandemic. It was nice to know that I would be in a good situation for studying at home and commuting in if I needed to and things like that.
And what did you study at your A levels when you were at Strode's?
Oh, I studied psychology, sociology, and English literature and language.
Okay, fantastic. And did they kind of like help nudge you towards your choice of subject at university or?
Yeah, they definitely did. I really enjoyed English literature and language, but what I found was that English is such a versatile subject that it really encompasses so much more than just, oh, what does this author say about blue curtains, for instance? I mean, you cover psychology, sociology, philosophy, lots of different things. So there's a big range to get me interested.
And do you think it was an easy decision to go to uni, or was it you weighing it up against other options? What kind of gave you that push to choose to go to uni?
It definitely wasn't easy because I don't think anyone had a really easy time this year. Obviously, am I going to defer? Am I going to go and get a job for a year? Or do I just go straight into it? They were all things to consider. In the end, I felt it was best just to jump straight in because you can do the research you want and you can find out what is the uni doing for students currently? What can I expect that they'll do for me? And will I be supported enough? I thought, yeah, I will be. And I went for it.
So what's that experience been like studying during a global pandemic? Tell us, I'm sure everyone wants to know.
It's definitely been interesting. At the beginning of the year, we had a mix of face-to-face teaching and online learning, and I loved the face-to-face teaching because it just got me out going somewhere because everything was closed and there was nothing else to do anyway. So that was really nice. And obviously, coming into term two, everything took a turn and it changed to be online. But I don't think it was as big a problem as you'd expect it to be because everyone's in the same boat and everyone's going to have the same like discomfort with it, I guess, is what it feels like at first. You do eventually get used to it, and hopefully we'll be coming out of that soon anyway.
So how did you find settling into university? Did you have, I mean, obviously you had some difficulties considering it was a very unusual year, but what kind of made it different to college and what helped you settle in?
Right from the offset, there were so many group chats to join, whether that was for accommodation, for your subject, or just like general groups of people with the same interests as you. So it was really nice to know that I wasn't ever going to be alone. There were always going to be people there for me. So getting to know these people before I came was a massive help. I went into accommodation for the first term as well. So I met a great set of people through that, and it would just built a massive community, but especially between those group chats because it was so hard to meet in person at the time.
And what was it like moving out, I guess probably for the first time and living independently, even if it was only for a little time?
It was it was quite an experience. You have to learn a lot of things um, that you wouldn't necessarily consider otherwise in terms of how you're going to interact with other people that you aren't used to living with and how you're going to compromise with other people, and how you're just going to work together to make it work. But overall, it's quite good. We had quite a few dinner parties actually. That was a massive thing in my flat. We'd sit down, cook dinner together, and that would be our social time if we couldn't find it anywhere else. So it was just communication was the really big thing in doing that.
What's the greatest thing about Strode's?
I think the greatest thing for me was definitely my teachers. They pushed me even when I didn't want to be pushed. And perhaps at the time, I didn't quite like that. But I know now that it was for the best and I wouldn't be where I am now without them. And they really did care about my well-being. So if they ever noticed something was wrong, they'd be the first to say, look, are you okay? Do you need someone to talk to? We can help. So they helped me get quite far just by listening and paying attention to me as an individual.
I'm sure they'd love to hear that.
I hope
and then
so.
what about Royal Holloway? So what's the greatest thing you found so far about Royal Holloway?
So far at Royal Holloway, I've really loved the campus and the location. I found that there's so many places that you can go just to chill out, whether you want to go to Founders and sit in the quad on a nice sunny day, or even if you want to walk just 5 minutes up the road to Virginia Waters, it's a really nice place to be. You can relax, but then you've got London 30 minutes on the train line into Waterloo, so there's loads of things to do over there. So you never have nothing to do. There's always a variety of things that you can be getting on with.
And what about your course? What's the greatest thing about your course?
I love the variety on my course. I think we've covered so much this year, and I just never would have expected that. I thought there'd be just so much reading and writing and going back and forth, and that it would get quite boring, but it hasn't, because everything's so different and you learn about other people and you learn about yourself as well. There's a lot of reflection, I think, in English, and especially in creative writing. You have to face things and address them and just learn about things that you might not have ever thought you would learn about.
Right, we're going to play a quick game of either or. So, number one, studying in the Davison building or studying in Founders Reading Room?
For me, I think it's got to be the Founders Reading Room, just because it's such a warm atmosphere and it's very old, so it's quite whimsical in there. So you can kind of get lost in whatever you want to do, and it's really quiet and relaxing.
Coffee at the cafe on the square or bubble tea from Imagine?
Bubble tea from Imagine, definitely. I've never had bubble tea before I came to Royal Holloway, so it's still quite a new thing to me. And also, I don't really like coffee, so it's got to be the tea.
The SU or medicine?
I quite like a night out at Medicine. The garden in the back is really quite nice. You can sit down and have a chat with your friends, listen to music, and they've got these beautiful fairy lights overhead, so it creates just a nice chilled out atmosphere.
Founders Dining Hall or the Hub?
It's got to be the Hub, I think, just because Kimiko's there. You can go and grab a katsu curry or vegetarian options. And then you can even run down and get a bubble tea as well underneath from Imagine.
And last one, listen to Insanity Radio or read The Orbital?
As an English student, it's got to be reading The Orbital for me. I just take that in a bit better, so that's what I enjoy a little bit more.
And so in your time so far, I know you've been with us for almost one full academic year now. What are you most proud of?
I think what I'm most proud of is literally just getting through the year and meeting so many people, because you can really easily slip into this period of isolation where you don't want to talk to anyone in the middle of a pandemic. You just kind of want to sit alone in your room and get your work done. But actually, I think we all should be proud, whether you're doing your A-levels now or if you're at uni, that we got through this year and we're going to go on to bigger and better things next year.
So has university, Royal Holloway, and the time that you've been with us so far, has it been like you expected?
I think my expectations for the year really changed when I was looking at university. Everything you thought you knew about it just kind of went out the window because everything was so different. But it was better than what I expected, because I really thought I would struggle to keep up with the work, to fit in and to be myself, but that's just not the case. And everyone's been so supportive, and there's always someone to talk to, that it just hasn't got in the way for me.
Great. And finally, Jess, last question. What advice would you give to your college self?
I think I would just tell myself to keep going and don't worry so much. You're young, you're in this time of your life where you need to have fun, and you are going to do it no matter what you tell yourself. You're going to be able to do it. You are smart enough and you are going to fit in, because there's always a place for you. So try not to worry, have fun, and use the time wisely.
Thank you so much for talking to us today. And if you guys want to learn anything more about Royal Holloway, please feel free to check out our resources, which will be in the description below. Thanks very much.